Welcome back as I learned to repair some of the missing and broken items on this early 1972 Porsche 914. Been able to find some of the fixes on the internet for it, and others are a little more difficult to find. So in this video, I'll be showing some information on the rear door cap that wasn't readily available with other videos on the internet, and was able to track it down and buy some parts through 914 Rubber. And so as part of this video, I wanted to show you how I installed those and where these parts go. So the early cars are just a little bit different than the later cars. On these, they use these early indoor caps as a plastic guide to keep the door glass straight, sliding up and down, not wobbling back and forth. The newer doors will have a felt strip that goes in the channel, keeping it in place. On these, they use this plastic guide. Unfortunately, in order to put the guide in place, you've got to remove the glass completely, access the Phillips head screw, remove it, slide this plastic piece into place, and then get your screw back in, then reinstall the glass. So today we started by removing the inner door card, using these trim removal pieces to pop the pins out, working your way around the door, and then once they're all pulled out and loosened, you can simply lift up on the door card. One thing I forgot, definitely have to remove the trim ring that goes around the door handle. It's held in place by one Phillips screw. Try to use a magnetic screwdriver at this point. If not a big deal. If the screw drops down, it's simply going to go inside the door. You can pull it out a little bit later. And if you had your door crank handle on, you'd have to use a Phillips screwdriver to remove the one screw in that as well and pull it out. So at this point, lift up on the door card, slide it out of the way. I had used some plastic carpet saver, which is an adhesive plastic. It's a stretchy plastic, and I use that as a liner on the inside of the door. I'll be putting some back on again as soon as we go to put this back together. Started by lowering the glass a little bit so that I could access the two screws. I believe they're Phillips head screws that hold the glass onto the regulator. Once those are removed, you can go to the bottom of the door. You can see the screw that's in place. There's a nut on a straight screw that you have to thread into the door. Once you get it in far enough where it'll clear the metal, you can lift up on it. You've got two 10mm bolts you need to remove that remove the triangle glass. Once those are out, you can wiggle the glass a little bit, breaking the seal loose, and then you'll lift it up just enough to be able to see that same straight head screw. You'll have to actually thread that out and remove it to be able to pull the glass the rest of the way out. Once removed, just lift up on the glass and it should pull straight up. Next, reach in, grab your glass and gently lift it in. Find you a clean, safe space to sit it where you know it's not going to get knocked over and broken. So on the early cars, they do have these four places where there's a little roller that clips on. Mine fell off when removing it. They fell down inside the door, so I'll have to get those out and then put them back on before installing the glass again. So if you look inside here, you can see the Phillips screw right there. That's what I'm going to be removing. I'll need to reinstall that with the door cap. Got it. So there's the inside track that the door glass slides up and down on. You can see how the piece starts to fit. In my case, the inside of the door had a little bit of a bend to it. I had to get that back in place to get this door cap to seat properly. Then your weather strip channel should line up, and with your thumb you can go through and simply pop it down in place. I took this time to go ahead and vacuum out the inside of the door after I knew that I had gotten all the pieces that fell in. Went ahead and put some sound deadening material on the inside of the door, just for a little extra precaution from sound and making the ride a little bit quieter. So I've got everything laid out, ready to go back together. Here's the parts that I've got to snap back on to allow it to slide up and down properly. It starts with a little washer, and then you have the round bearing itself that allows it to roll properly. So I'm showing you here the bracket. This has the 2 Phillips screws that attaches the door glass to the door regulator. I went ahead and used some dry lube in this instance. Used some on the channels that slide up and down every place that things were moving, and I didn't want grease to build up. Not sure if this is the best product for it, but figured I'd give it a shot. Did make things well lubricated and slide properly. We'll see how long it lasts. Got the triangle glass back in place, trying to get that weather strip seated properly. Then I put the 10mm bolts back in. Don't forget, as you slide the triangle glass down inside the door, you'll need to put that straight screw back inside before you get it all the way down. Once it's all the way down, you're going to back that screw out and get your adjustments lined up. So go ahead and close the door, see if everything seals properly. If that door glass needs to go in or out slightly, you can adjust that screw on the bottom of the door and it'll move it as you need to, and then you'll be putting the nut back on it. And I'll show you that screw here. It's the one on the left. So this is a guide on the inside of the door. I am not sure the name of this, and I cannot find them online. I actually used some weather strip adhesive and glued this back to the bottom corner of the glass. I'm still missing one for the passenger side, but went ahead and installed this one as I found it. I also went ahead and put some dry lube on that track too, and then I went back to installing the carpet saver just to give that little extra protection from the weather and moisture inside the door. Stuff's pretty good. It's sticky. Today it was a little bit cold, so it didn't stick very well. If you're doing it on a warmer day, it'll adhere to the door pretty quickly. Once it's in place, you can make sure you have all your door clips back on the door card. I think in my instance, I had one that actually stuck to the door. I had to pull it out and twist it back onto the door card. That's what I'm doing here, is twisting it back in place. Next, you just start at the top, lift the door card a little bit high. Once you get it lined up, you're going to drop it down and then make your way around the door, making sure your clips are lined up with the holes, and then just one at a time, you can press them in place till they click. Then I reinstalled the trim ring around the door handle. You'll pull both the handle and the lock out slightly, allowing you to slide it into place, and then you'll just return that one Phillips head screw to its original location. Notice if the door card's pushed in too far around that trim ring, you may have to pull it out slightly so it seats correctly. Otherwise, you see a gap. Thanks for watching. I'll update you guys on any other new fixes that we find on this car, and hope you enjoyed watching.